Yo, something completely out of the blue, something I always wanted to do, like especially with albums. Little behind the scenes commentary from me, and I'm joined here by one of my good friends, colleagues, Xens,
Hello.
to talk me through this. Yeah, so this Reawakening album, you've been on the sideline, I've been working on it for a long time. The idea originally came from my manager. It was like, yeah, because people connect with your old tunes so much, why don't you take your old tunes and kind of redo them into the style you have now? And I've been doing that for the last year. I've been performing, doing it live, and I actually have the last Reawakening show at Decibel, which is, I think if you're listening to this, was last week or 2 weeks ago. And the general idea behind everything was just to like introduce also the new crowd to my old music, but at the same time give it my new flavor. So first was Reawakening, of course, together with Audio Tricks. It was one of the tunes that kind of got our names out there, and was originally written by Robin van Loenen, who also wrote Release. But it was resung this time by one of his pupils, which is kind of funny that we ended up at the same place. It's done by Rogier, who also sang On My Mind and who also co-wrote Lost. Really, really talented vocalist.
Yeah, so first you mentioned that you had to go back to all these old projects and stuff.
Oh yeah, that was
how
the worst.
how did you actually manage to um, think, because you had to capture like the old sound but still put it with the new sound, and that sometimes can be challenging. So for the Reawakening, which is like one of your most iconic tune, like how did you actually did that?
Well, the first thing I did was actually ask one of my other friends slash colleagues, A-Rise, to maybe come up with something different. Because like for me, if I do something on my own tunes, it feels like I'm cutting my own hair. So I kind of asked like Carlos is his name, A-Rise, maybe you hear something different. And he came up with like this really brilliant chord in between that just made it a little bit different, but also like different enough that I could call it an actual remix. So I had a little help here and there, and I'll go a little bit more in depth behind others as well, because you, Max, you've also worked on the album as well.
Yeah,
which was
I worked on Keep Me Awake, which
Yeah.
was a true honor for me to work on it, because I told you many times, but it's one of those tunes when I first heard it live, which was Climax 2015, that's where you premiered it, I was frozen of goosebumps because of the melody. So I was like, yeah, that's the one I would really like to work on.
Yeah,
really.
and you did a great job. Like Max worked mostly on the break, and
Yeah.
that just like as soon as I heard that, I was like, wow, it fits so well, and it adds like he told me he didn't have to do much because David's vocals do a lot, but I don't really agree. Like the break right now just fits so well, and it all molds really nicely together, and it complements the actual melody, So like for me, it was also kind of difficult to touch tunes that I like made like 10 years ago. It's weird to think. Really weird to think about that.
What was really challenging is that, yeah, Keep Me Awake is one of your biggest hit in the scene as well, with Release and the Reawakening, of course. But like it was so hard to imagine, okay, what can you do to that tune to bring it to the new jacket and stuff. So
exactly, yeah. Well, the thing,
it was really tough.
The key elements are always like the melody you can't change because it's so recognizable, and also like the vocal you can't really change. So things you could do, what I told myself as well, you can change the arrangement, like you can maybe add a mid-intro to also make it a little bit more danceable. So that's what I did to Reawakening as well. I added 2 mid-intros actually, one with a fake drop, because you gotta stay up to date with the new kids. Like for Reawakening as well, I redid the mid-intro as well to add just a little bit more of a danceable part to it. because I didn't want to be like the Reawakening just to be like slow edits of all the tunes, because that's what I usually do when I have like a special live edit. I slow it down and I make it a lot bigger, and maybe sometimes it's like a really big choir that sang like the break. But this time I chose to approach it differently and just make sure that people have fun on the dance floor still, but also that you keep up to date with the current style of an hardstyle, because the currently, like, a lot of people say it's going harder and harder, but I don't really agree. I think there's also a lot of harder DJs that are implementing a lot of melodies again, and I think with
Oh, for sure.
with the Reawakening, I found a perfect balance where it's not too hard, but it's also not just listening music,
It's not
Uh,
those old crunchy cakes anymore. It's
No,
just
no. Well, like a lot of people have been asking me to get the crunchy kicks back, but to be honest, like I feel my kicks are a lot more crunchier now. And if I go back to using the classic noise controller sample, I wouldn't play them anymore because they have little to no impact
yeah.
live anymore. Because the kicks have improved a lot, if you ask me, over the last couple of years. And if you revert to doing the old stuff like that, I don't think it has any
I
impact
mean,
anymore.
those old crunchy cakes are like what, over 10 years ago now. So
I think the original was for like a Control Alt Delete which was
yeah,
2009. So why would
yeah.
I still want to use something from 2009? And also that isn't really mine, like it back in the day, everyone kind of used the Control Alt Delete kick, but
Oh, for sure.
I feel it's like I know how to make kicks now, so I don't want to go back to
It's
using.
also it's also one of your biggest signature as Atmozfears. Like your cakes are like so recognizable that you just have to go with that.
Yeah, and I feel like if I don't, that I also don't play the tunes, which is something you just notice when you're playing, when you're out there DJing. If you're like, I noticed in Corona, I also released the album. This is my story. I noticed that when you don't play them out, you make music differently, and sometimes
Yeah,
that doesn't really mean it's better,
for sure. For sure.
But actually, talking about A-Rise, he actually did an actual remix for me, which was Living for the Future. And what I really love about what he did is make an actual remix. You don't hear that many recognizable things back from the original, but I love it. It's an actual remix, and he really gave it his own twist.
Yeah, it's still it's when Carlos sent it to me, I told him it could almost be an original tune.
Yeah, and I love it.
Which is actually a good thing in my opinion as well. So
Yeah, like I always struggle. Like if I look back at the remix I did for Headhunters, Psychedelic, I basically made an edit, and if I would do it now, I would do it so much differently,
Yeah.
or actually make a remix, because for me, I didn't dare to touch a tune like that, but I should have just done so, That's what I love about A-Rice's remix. He just did it and made it his own. So
And we also mentioned that the guy just sang the tune as well.
Yeah, it's him on the vocals. It's
so
awesome.
epic.
Yeah.
yeah, epic.
And also, shout out to Wild Styles for allowing me to actually include What It's Like on here as well. It's a mashup with Bellanova, but him actually allowing me to redo What It's Like a little bit in a new jacket. Like, it also has like a new mid intro, but still the iconic Bellanova melody, and totally new structure, and just so much fun for me to play it out again, because I can't really play What It's Like the original because it's a little bit outdated and slow. Now it's just fun to play these out again. And after my last live act, I'm gonna play these out, of course, by themselves. Like normally, I wouldn't play that many album tunes in like a normal set because it's meant for the live act. But of course, I'm gonna play them all out once the album's out.
So how did you manage to actually put those tunes together? Like what was
I don't know.
behind it?
Sometimes it's just like I was surprised by how much of my music fit on each other. Like I also did it with Connected and Starscream. They also like, I don't know, it felt like a puzzle piece, like, and they all were the right size. You know, it's really weird that I could put two random tunes of mine together and they would just work. So I
Yeah.
guess I think it comes down to like having a signature or like a sound that just works. And yeah, it's all happy coincidences, of course, because I was just messing around and then
Yeah.
it worked. It's weird. Also, like the other tune that I did with Audio Tricks, What About Us, was really special for us as well, because that was one of the next tunes after like all our kind of hits, if I want to call it that, that really stood out again. And also shout out to these lads for allowing me to do it. I had a little help in the break from Victory, who helped me out a little bit with the jazzy feel, because I was so stuck with what I wanted to do with the break, and he just came in on this car. He was like, "Yeah, you should try this and this," and then after like 10 minutes, it just worked. So it's really cool to get like outside new talent helping you out.
Yeah, Victor is like really talented at the piano, and I think how he did it is just was listening to the vocal and playing some chords under it, and then he came up with this, and yeah, it was already magical by itself, you know. So
yeah, and then we have one of my friends, Jesse, remixing Another Day, which was kind of like last minute for him, because he finished like he started it like a week before DEF CON and then finished it like 2 days before, and just in time for me to actually play it on the main stage. And I love that he kept I think the soul of the tune in there, and he made a really fun tune for me to play out again, because I love triplet, but I don't make too many triplet tunes anymore. And he just made it his own as well. Like, he didn't do a complete remix, but it's just like so easy for me to play it out now again.
I actually think like this one might be my favorite from your album, actually, because as you said, it captures like the gold times of like triplet melodies and stuff, but still like really updated sound and clean mix as well. And
really good mix.
It's really perfect.
Yeah, and then the hardest tune, I think, on the album, Connected and Starscream. I just had to do one where people would just look at me and like, what are you doing?
Are you fine?
Yeah, exactly that. No, I just wanted to have some fun and have some like balls in there as well, you know? So it's just like a fun thing for me to do there in between. And it would just work perfectly with the This Is the Time vocal and Starscream as well. Back in the day, I kind of made an homage to Transformers, and I didn't really want to use the long melody, but I did in this one, because I was just like, it just fits so perfect.
Also, what you can say is what your publisher mailed you when you sent the tune.
Oh yeah. Well, actually, I sent the album out to all my literally everyone in my contact list, and my publisher, his comment about this, specifically the mid intro, was like, "What the hell, dude? What's happening?" It's funny. Yeah, up next is
you won the loudness war with that one.
Won the loudness war, literally.
Yeah.
Up next is the Aerolite remix of Gladiators, and I love that he switched it around from straight to from triplet to straight, I think. Yeah, and it also still works, you know. So like great kicks, great restructuring of the tune, all around like solid remix. It's Aerolites from the States, so great on him representing hardstyle, and also like one of our close inner circle colleagues that just keeps out putting quality stuff out there. So yeah,
it was. Oh.
Yeah.
Wait. Oh yeah, sorry. Like my PC froze for a minute. That was one of his dreams as well, to remix one of your tune, officially.
He already did it on my album last year as well, and I just wanted to give him another chance, and worked out great. So shout out to Timothy in the States. Thanks for participating on the album. Yeah, and up next, a little bit controversial, but at the same time not. We have Energized on the Fabric of Creation edit. I actually did it a little bit together with him. So there you got a sneak peek. And maybe in the future, me and Xander can sit down again and maybe like do a tune again. You never know. Like it's all the bullshit is under the water. Is that a saying?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like we're good now, and I hope he lets his talent shine again.
I think the scratch from a Fabric of Creation, even like on the old version, but also in the new one, just gives me goosebumps. Like it's such an iconic sound, in my opinion. Super epic.
Yeah, Sander has a hella talent, so I hope he puts it to good use. Talking about a really old tune, Rise Up. It was actually called Spiritual Abyss in 2009. And me and Wesley never got to actually finish this tune properly. I think we made like 5 versions back then, but we couldn't agree on the mix or like the structure. And we got together for this album to do it properly. And it's called Rise Up now with me and the vocals when I just woke up. And, yeah, that melody is just like so weird to me because we made that literally in 2008. I think I made the first version of that melody, and it feels so weird because it feels like someone else made it, but I made it. It's weird. It's
But is it the oldest tune you took for a new for like?
I think so.
The
Yeah.
REAWAKENIng,
Yeah. Well,
track?
there's also "Stay with You," which was remixed by Repulse, some really talented kids. But I think that was 2011.
Okay.
I think the Spiritual Abyss is actually the oldest one. Yeah, it's always fun to work with Aftershock. Like it's really easy working with him. And I think the end result, I think this is the only Zaagkick we have kinda on the album. Like we had to do one.
You had to, huh? You had to.
Yeah, we had to do one. Yeah. Yeah. Continuing on that Repulse remix. Well, like quite different from what I was used of them, but it's kind of a hardcore hardstyle remix hybrid that they did. But I love it, and it turned out really great. It has some drum and bass influences, and yeah, I can't wait to work some more with these guys. And the last 2 are 2 remixes done by close friends of mine, Antigy and Rapture. Antigy, Nino remix Possession, actually a tune that I did with Adrenalize in 2014, 15. I don't really remember.
I think it's 14.
Yeah, it was one of our hardest tunes that we ever did, and I think it was the B-side of She Goes, which is like the complete opposite.
It's too cute.
Yeah, it's too cute. Like maybe we should have taken that one, but I to be honest, I hate that. I hate the vocal and I hate that melody. So I asked Nino to do Possession, and I think it turned out great. It's a little on the hardest side, but you have to have a closer of the album. And
I think Nino Entergy has such a great potential to rise in the raw side of hardstyle. He's so talented, and man, his kicks, like it's just fucking
it's insane. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really loud.
I remember Marco Future Noise, his face when he first heard the last drop, because he was playing after me, and he was like, "Holy shit, dude, are you okay?" Which is funny. And then I think the last tune, Rapture, I actually have like 3 or 4 collabs with him coming up, but he did a remix for Up Top, and he also gave it his own twist, and it's just so much fun to see how different people approach doing a remix, and I think he did it really stylish, if that's a word. He didn't take the original melody, but he had to say like still the same vibe, not too hard, because he didn't want to do any Zaagkick, like I told him, like, hey, if you it's gonna be the last tune on the album, you can go a little crazy, but it's like, nah, I don't want to contribute too much to the to the Zaagkick war, you know, that's going on. But yeah, all in all, I think a great closer of the album. And just for me, looking back at all the like the live acts I did, and just the response from like fans that have been fans for 10 years that also really appreciate hearing these tunes again, but in a new jacket. And I don't think I've heard one complaint that actually ruined any of them. So that's good.
So, like, how did you experience, like, of course, you made all the music, but, like, how was it for you live to still, like, you play your old tunes, but, like, it's, again, in a new jacket? So, like, how did it feel? Like, for instance, at DEF CON or...
Yeah, it's fun. It's funny, like, because for some people it's completely new music, you know. So I see that in the crowd, but I also see like, for example, when I played "What It's Like" for the first time, that like some people in the crowd just turn around and they're like, "Oh, I know this," and then it's
Yeah.
something that they know but different, you know. I also love that when I'm in the crowd and I hear something that I recognize, but it's slightly different, or they made like a special version of it. I always love that, so it was really good to see that reflected in the crowd as well, you know. And all in all, it's been a really fun project to do with all my close colleagues as well, because they've been really helpful and supportive for me, like, as well, because it was a little bit hard sometimes, you know, like, because I had to do one new edit for every live act I did. And I think after DEF CON, I had a Wish Outdoors straight after. And thank God for all the mental support on online, because that was a little bit of a struggle after DEF CON, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
Well, thank you guys for taking the time to listen to my album and also this. And also, Max, thank you for the little interview. And I hope you guys like this kind of stuff. Just let me know. Hit me up on Instagram if you enjoyed this kind of stuff, and maybe we'll do it more.